So we spent the entire last video working on cleaning things up and refactoring testing and making things tidy. It's time to do some real stuff now. The last bits of cleanup that I was thinking of doing, which I'm going to defer, are to set up another set of tracks up here, which will have my smelter outputs, things like copper and iron and steel plates and bricks, and then above that, whatever lines we need above that to carry the raw materials. I suspect we will have a lot of very chaotic railroad work going in to get ores into smelters, and I do not know how many smelters we're going to need at this point, but that's for the future. For the present, I want to do the military science next. Now, we have chemical science, and the lesson we learned from chemical science was to go ahead and split it into 4 columns when we have a secondary item that can also split into 4 columns. So let's compare the layouts. So for chemical science, I had 26 assemblers building the science and 16 building the engine units. That split very well. And then we had the trivial inputs for engines down there. For military science, we again have almost 11 assemblers for military science and about 6 for grenades. So we could do something like that here. I'm inclined to go with 2 columns. And here's my reasoning. With 2 columns, we would have, say, 6 on each side, or 6 per column here, and 3 per column here. And that makes it easier to split the resources for these guys. In fact, just because it makes the numbers better, I'm going to delete the speed modules out of these assemblers. This comes out to, the rounded up numbers I was talking about. So, number of belts. We see here that we don't have anything moving, any ingredients moving to military science that require more than half a belt. But once we get down here, notice that our grenades are going to need 1.3 belts total. So either we have an entire whole belt going into each column for grenades, or we go more than 3 columns. Now with 8 machines, we could split it 2 ways. It's only got 2 inputs, so we could have an entire whole belt on each side of coal. And that leaves the other side to carry our outputs and our iron. Yeah, that works. As far as this stuff is concerned, we're going to do the walls just by taking 2 belts of stone and using mini loaders to put them into the assembler and a mini loader to take them out. And here we'll just use 3 machines and 1 machine. So these 3 are going to be a simple external build. The grenades we're going to put, if we put 3 per side with beacons, with speed beacons, put those back in now so we can see it. So 3 per side with speed beacons. So there's a challenge is going to be getting that much coal into those machines. I am actually not sure if inserters can do it that fast. Items per second per machine. So we would need to put in 10 items per second. I think enough stack inserters will do that. Okay, let's build it without. I will build them without speed modules. I'll put 3 on each side. I will be ready to add more machines because if we end up being throttled on those inserters, and we'll give it our best shot. We still need 3.7 iron plate per second, so stack inserter for that as well. What are our current bonuses? Where did stack inserters go? So stack inserter capacity is 12. So definitely going to hit better than 12 per second when we have full power. Power, ooh, I haven't looked at power in a while. How is my power doing? We're pretty consistent here. We are running at 1.7, 1.8 gigawatts. We spike in the morning when we recharge the accumulators. And there's steam engines still exist in the factory. But we're not using them. It's fine. So we still have a long way to go before we're out of power. 8 gigawatts is a lot of power. So, what I figured out was we are similar to this, but not identical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a copy-paste of part of it, say down to there. And we use that as our base. That'll save us some time building. And apparently I still have some stuff turned on. Cheats, personal cheats. Okay, all this needs to turn off because we are now out of doing testing stuff, we're doing real stuff. Let's run this out and get ourselves prepared here. Stuff back up. Oops. And this is why I don't generally leave belt immunity equipment in all the time. So I love just cruising along on the belt that I'm building. Here we go. And now we can build this again. Where is it? 1, 2, here's our center point again. Now, the mistake I just made is I put this in a place where I can't actually bring it through into my lane of choice. But I also have a whole bunch of extra stuff here, so let's just kill all of that. So these two are each going to have half a belt, and they're going to get merged together and set down. Okay, so let's start changing recipes. Military science. So this is the military science. This is the size of the chemical science area. science is too many. Military science would require a total of 11, call it 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the bottom one goes away. There. So that gives us our military science, and they're set up to do the whole customary 2 things on the right, 1 input on the left, 1 output on the left, and there we go. So now we need to take from the proper side of this, and the easiest way to do that, and I mean really super easy, is just to do that. And we'll leave that unconnected until we're ready to go. And in fact, let's do this. Oops, wrong thing. From there to there. And from we need to pick it up off of that side. Just like that. This is not something that is done very frequently in my observation. Let's make it even simpler to look at. There we go. But yeah, this does the same thing. This way we pick up the thing on the left, it goes under, out to here. This one, it literally picks it up as the belt comes up from the underground, and the other half is lost to the hood. So the next one up, this is where I'm putting my hand grenade machines. This is here. And I'm not putting speed modules in because I suspect that we will be limited by our inserters already. So 8 machines, they're going to require a lot of coal and iron. So this belt on the right is just pure coal. Oops, and the belt on the left actually still needs to do this. We're going to bring in the iron from the left here. So, max rate calculator for this layout tells us that we have almost enough grenades, but we need 1 more grenade machine to actually match the throughput of our science, but our science is going to be at 1108. So, I think we're good. We will see. And if I need slightly more speed, I can start spreading a few speed modules in. Now, as before, I'm going to prefer to use undergrounds to split the thing I want, like this. I do these things that are position-based rather than using the priority splitters, the more I get away from caring about what I'm building. Now, that is in tension with using a splitter with a filter on it, so I don't care what lane things are on. And I'm not consistent. I go back and forth. I'm sorry. It's just the way I am. So our input's up here. Let's go ahead and use matter sources as our markers. So half iron and full coal. Well, let's do the half iron from the left. In fact, let's bring them all in from the left. This is iron. And these are coal. So if I fire those up now, we'll get our iron and coal. And that leaves us with the other two ingredients which need to come in there. Test it. Continuous testing, guys. This says that we should be able to get 356 grenades per minute. And our requirement is 357 grenades per minute for 1,000 coal. Was that again? 356.25. So we are 3/4 of a grenade per minute under 1,000. I am thinking that if I just roll this up by one more beacon, we'll be there. So this adds a few more beacon sources to these top two machines. And of course, I really wish I didn't have to do that. And tie these together to emphasize they are the same thing in case I have to reconstruct later. Now we've already backed up, but this says we're now up to 375, and that's more than enough. Okay, so we have met our margin, bringing us up to 1K. So down here, this is where we need to bring in the bricks, or the brick wall, and these magazines. I'm going to put the brick up, and I'm going to put these down just arbitrarily. It doesn't matter. And the easiest way I know of to build a belt half and half would be to put stack inserters. But in this world, we do have the much faster guys here. So I could do this. And let's put our beacons down. Come on. And can I put, okay, there. We'll figure it out. So a beacon like that, where we can put out 750 walls per minute, and our requirement is 714, so that's correct. And that also means that when we look at this in terms of stack inserters, fast filters, stack inserters, this means that I would need a, well, single stack inserter could handle the output, and I would need 2.2 of them input. Well, it's our transport belts. We need two transport belts. Wow. Okay, so in a typical base where you're not using mini loaders, you're not going to be fully beaconing a wall machine because yeah, just too much input. We're right on the hairy edge. 3 stack inserters may be enough to bring in enough brick. Maybe. But then it depends on whether there's materials there on the belt when they look for them. So we're going to bring those up. Like that. Actually, let's give ourselves a bit more room here. Of stuff, of brick, excuse me. Okay, let's get those going. So for continuous testing, we continue to keep everything else fed. Scummy, what I would do is start, well, not just scummy, let's go ahead and start peeling off anything that gets to the end of these lines so I can have my intermediates continue to produce at their consumption rate. These are just for testing. And we're going to need power. Don't know how many beacons we're going to need yet. We need 3 machines making the ammunition. And we're going to need 1 making the cheap ammunition. These 3 have an output. Like that. And their output's going to be on one side or the other, depending on how I do this. So the output is 1/20th of a belt, yeah. And in terms of fast inserters, we could actually output this without using even stack inserters. So it could be on the left, it could be on the left, it could be on the right. Put it on the left. So we put it on the left, we can bring it down and bring it out and bring it up, and that simplifies that. Now I'm going to use stack inserters for everything. I'm going to presume that I need outputs, inputs and outputs, like that. So my output's going to be on the left, so my input is going to be on the right. And normally I would do fancy things with moving a belt around, but here I'm just going to do this. So his output is just right there. Now, these guys not only need the firearm magazines, but they also need a lot of copper and a little bit of steel. So for each one, ooh. Okay, I'm wondering, totally, how much copper do we need? We need more than half a belt of copper. Well, that's a problem. So I now need to work out how to get the copper in here along with the... See, normally I would put the firearms on the steel as input, and these would have some sort of a long-handled inserter sending their output somewhere, but we don't have that available to us. Well, let's assume that this guy... he's got good iron coming in. Let's admit defeat on the iron. Just put it there. If I put my outputs on the right, I can bring things in from the far left. Okay. Okay. So this handles our outputs. Now we have the problem that these guys need steel and copper they need more than half a lane. So I think we are basically at this point forced to use inputs for everything from across the way. Our copper inputs, and this does not allow us enough space to do anything else. If we move it back, that actually, that brings a smile to my lips. Okay, so we need copper coming in here. It's going to be over a belt of copper. Well, it's going to be over half a belt of copper for those three. So each one of these is still viable. It's the three of them in combination where I can't get half a belt. Hold on, let's simplify this. If I just do two of them, that's under half a belt, so expressed as stack inserters, that's one stack inserter per machine for copper. Like that. There. So down below and up above, what we do is we feed them in from both directions. This is going to be a copper steel mix. And we don't how to do that. We'll just come in here in the middle somewhere, plop this down. And if we really want to be scummy, we do that. There's our inputs. No, that will confuse me when I look at it later. There. Okay, so we have the mixture coming in here. This guy needs 2 fast inserters to pick it up. I think 1 fast inserter may be enough. Let's use 2. Same thing here. And this guy gets 1 inserter peeling off of each one, because neither one is going to have enough for all 3. Either one should have enough for 2. And the outputs go up to the right. Bada bing, bada boom, there we are. So let's test this. Our iron. So now we should start seeing our normal ammunition. There's our bulk copper and our bulk steel. That should be enough for us to start producing the piercing rounds. There's our testing inputs. And now we see that we are bottoming out a bunch of military science. So we can remove these guys. This will back up where we have our intermediates that are overbuilt, which we do slightly. Now, according to max rate calculator, because we have extra military science, this shows us as having shortfalls on these machines. I don't think it's an actual shortfall. Don't need him. I believe everybody now has full coverage. So at this point, we should start seeing our military science production go up. Here it is. Yes. We are at 1K. So as long as you don't interrupt our inputs, I can splice that in. And we are now independent of this testing range. Okay, downside, if we preferentially are peeling from one side of the belt, we may see weirdnesses in our production. So this does need to actually provide a splitter. I shouldn't have picked that up. So if I use a splitter to bring just the science out, I won't do that yet because it'll interrupt me. The science is on the left. Then I want to bring them together and merge. Yeah, let's go ahead and interrupt it. And I'm not going to use a splitter for this. There's my two half lanes. We merge them, and we now have either one of these comes from both of them, and we can do this to get a balance, and we are all set. Either output lane can come from either input lane. And we've backed up one, so these guys are being merged onto the other. That's proper, and this will have us pulling evenly from both sides of the grid. Okay, so what is our actual input here? Coal and iron and brick and copper. So coal, iron, copper, and steel plate mainly. In terms of express belts, we actually need more than one belt of coal and more than one belt of iron and more than one belt of brick. Okay. If we look here, we see in terms of belts, same thing, coal, iron, brick, copper, steel. If we look in terms of wagons, well, we've already decided we're always bringing in 4 wagons from now on. So that simplifies our planning. So we need 5 stations. And we will be pulling out 2 belts of each thing, except copper and steel will go down to 1 belt. I'm going to pull 2 belts of each, and we'll deal with the copper and steel coming down to 1 belt down here. So we need 5 stations. And we need those 5 stations to look just like these guys. If I can pull this and duplicate, that's probably my easiest. So let's grab this whole thing. And I'm going to sever my input so that when I plop this down, we won't have trains coming here that shouldn't. We do need to save train stop names, and I'm going to save trains. Oh, I would need to rewrite all the train. Yeah. If I do that, these trains are going to immediately exit and go somewhere else. Let's do this. I will have to rewrite the schedules in the trains. That's not a problem. Let's turn off train fuel, because I don't have infinite amounts of fuel on me. And this gives us almost enough stations. Most importantly, what it gives us is something to start from. And there we go. I'm going to check my signaling on the other guy that these need to be chain signals here. Yeah, they are. Oh, it was the next one over that I picked up? No? Okay, they're good. Oh, right. I already had regular signals down, so when I placed the new... Yeah, it didn't replace those signals for me. Yeah, that works. Put the speed up to 3 while my bots are building things valiantly. Okay, thing 1 is going to be to get the fuel coming in. Now, I do not want these trains to fire up yet. I do need to change all of my stations to use the proper names. So, this is Fuel for Science. And this guy will be dropping at Fuel for Science. Empty. I wish I could just edit that. See, it doesn't let me edit the station. And we need to give him at least 1 fuel, so he can go get fuel. Okay, so our fuel train is now working. And I'm going to pause for a second here. Okay, fresh cup of coffee, and my bot splayed everything down. I added the 5th train station. I did correct the names of the stations here to have the correct science in them, but we don't have the right products yet. The trains still have the wrong scheduling because I don't have all the trains in. The other thing I did was I worked out the two pair. Before I just had those two merging and feeding into these two merging, and then I thought, well, if I merge it down like this, I can then put this guy in and have him. Oh, wait a minute, that doesn't actually work because I do need to take the output of him, right? So yeah, I need to keep these balanced. I need to balance their inputs. Oh, haha, duh. What I do on their output, so what if I do that? That will cause us to take more output from this second lane. So we do need to take the 2 lanes from this top merger. So those are our outputs. Just like that. I don't think I have a choice. So let's cut off these guys. Remember, the top one is these two are the two running ones that I built. So this one has two carts on it here. These each have one cart. Oh, let's move our merger up. Maybe I can do this without colliding with the X train and the signal here. So we need to merge these two together. So now we have two cargo wagons on this, two cargo wagons on that, and now we have two cargo wagons together, and we can bring these out to the left and down. And the further we go up, the further to the left they go, so we're going to have to bring them down a little bit. So that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it would be to use the bottoms. No, because then we would be lined up against the next rail. We need them to be ending up in the middle. Bear with me here for a second. Let me replan this. What I want is eventually for this to come out here. Right? And we do know that we need to use this. Super straightforward. Thinking about this for a second here. Lucy wants to help us plan. So that would give me a really super straightforward merge. This comes from there. About that for a second. That's super straightforward. It takes each output and puts it where it needs to be, and then does our 4-to-2 merge at the end. We don't need to lane balance because each box can output to both lanes in theory, and we aren't going to split out by lanes, so we're good. Did it on a row that has power. Yeah, we're going to need to pick and choose which power rows we actually use for power. I just got rid of one of my destruction planners. There we go. Have to be careful where I click. So now we kill off all of this. Staring at that for a second just to make sure this is what I want to do. Yeah. Okay, so make a blueprint of this. And drop it down. So this power layout is total overkill because I just have pasted power into every station, and we know we don't need power in every station. I think that's where we need power. Lucy agreed with me and then squirmed to get down, so she thinks this is a done design. I think that looks good. So let's pick up our targets. Need to come in to the left of where I'm standing in pairs. So the first one is going to be coal. There's coal coming down. And we will split that. So once we get the coal trains moving, I will wean us off of the infinite coal. We're going to just do that one at a time, just like that. All these trains are in manual mode, so they won't go anywhere. Yeah, all the train station names have been changed, so no trains will be trying to come here. I do need to go pick up one more locomotive before I can go much further here, so let's do that now. I know, I could call the PAX train to me, but that's no fun. It's kind of fun sometimes just to run across the factory, just to remind myself of what scale we're building at now. Okay, back to PAX Mall. Filled and all of our junk gets taken away and everybody's happy, right? I'm going to set matter voids up on this as well, but I'm going to limit them to 20. Is there anything else that I want to carry with me? I think that'll do. If I had anything else, I would grab it. Let's mouse over these to get rid of that little exclamation point. We actually have sources for multiple kinds of loaders. Creative Mod comes with the super loader. When used with duplicating chests, you have low performance cost solution to testing throughput with transport A belt system. So 480 items per second on a super loader. It's possible I will want to use super loaders to load my trains, except I don't think super loaders load trains. I think they only load boxes. So boxes and assemblers and such, or belts. I will experiment with them at some point, because a super loader might be able to load up the trains faster and simulate having much more highly effective stations. Although I probably want to make sure that everything continues to work, but my stations take significant time to load. We'll see about that. Okay, back to PAX test. And I can just jump off the train when I get where I'm going. We'll go to game speed 1 and jump off the train, and we'll be happy. Stop. Okay. So that has placed the remainder of our stuff. I'm going to go ahead and place some fuel in those guys. So this station is going to be coal. And this guy will be... I don't think we have a coal source yet. Decargo, inactivity, and... So I need a coal source. For the moment, we will just... No, I better just go build it. While I'm out there, I really ought to make sure I have all of my inputs for this setup. Whoosh. So we want to use something here. I'm going to do a new style station like this. See, there's only one station here. Train line of 4. And now if we go pick up our coal for science train that's in the front, add station, coal, full cargo, inactivity, and push that to the top, and have it come here. I'll ride this train back and set the other one up. Yeah, he needs to advance so I can come in behind him. There. And now we are dropping coal. I'll go back to game speed 1. Okay, going back and forth between the two methods of zooming is really kind of irritating, so I am going to commit settings, controls, I need to get rid of the original zoom. So I'm not going to be using shift zoom anymore. In fact, let's... no, I do need to have that just in case. How about alt shift zoom in and alt shift zoom out? So I need to avoid using shift on the zoom unless I really do need to absolutely use the map stuff. So map. Oh, infinite zoom doesn't work at all on the map. So the normal zoom keys just zoom, and the infinite zoom zooms further but doesn't work on the map. And then there's one other thing, which is zoom into and zoom out of map views. So there's a zoom that goes back and forth between the two views somewhere. Yeah, zoom into world, zoom out of world. You know, as much as I like infinite zoom, I do need to be able to zoom on the map. And I don't want to be... Yeah, okay. So we'll mostly use infinite zoom. If I go to map mode, I need to remember to use alt to zoom, which will lock me in map mode. And if I want to move inwards into the real world, I can either use shift zoom or I can just turn off map. But shift zoom will zoom in on where I am in the map. Now, if I alt zoom in and then go back to this, I'm in the map, in the world, using infinite zoom. This is going to be confusing. Darn it. And it means that from time to time, things are going to be weird. Okay. We have weaned ourselves from the infinite coal. Well, infinite local coal. We still have infinite coal in the station. But that doesn't count. Not for this. Not for testing this module. Okay, next item. Well, we could do iron next. Gonna do the iron next, and we're gonna bring him down here. Because this is convenient. So I will want him on the top going right and on the bottom going left somehow. And that replaces a lot of of shenaniganery. And actually, this is only one belt that does this here. Hold on. So one belt of iron is going to go off down there. The other belt gets split left and right. Let's work out how to do this. So we do that. We send some off to the left. This would put it on the top of both of them, which is not where we want. Okay, you doofus, that still puts us on the top. Wait a minute. This puts us on the top going left. Right? Correct? Which is the wrong side. So if instead we do... Puts us on the top going right. And we want to put this on, and we want to put this over here. That's where the iron wants to come up, right there. And then we're gonna, yeah, well, let's leave it here. We can just peel one down and one down there. And this needs to come up a little bit. You know what? I'm going to put this in place. First of all, is that going to be correct? That is going to be correct. Okay. That's correct. Good. And test it. And now we can grab our iron from some convenient location and bring it up. There we go. So we now have iron here. by accident we already had iron, or did I already set it up? I already set it up. Okay, so add station. We should have an iron source. Yep. We want to wait for full cargo and inactivity. And then we want iron for military science here. Empty cargo and inactivity. And then we kill off the top two. I thought I got on that train. Oh, darn. I got on the wrong train. So it gets on the train that's close to you, not the train that you have your mouse cursor over. So we'll just have to monitor those trains the old-fashioned way. So here we're filling up. It looks to me like our iron fill is going to be too slow. So I'll build another iron train here real quick, iron station. Back to where I can build more stations for iron plate. So the power's in the wrong place here. It's up by 1, is that right? Yes. There we go. I'm going to replace this station, so I'll just get rid of him completely. So my question is, how long does it actually take for these to fill up a car? Twofold. First of all, I want to make sure we're fast enough in these stations to match a real smelter. And the other thing is, I wanted to make sure we are slow enough so that we don't end up assuming too much about how fast trains can be loaded. 3, 4. Oh, those are being throttled here. Okay. One way to test that would be to go ahead and fix up these guys. Just in time. 1, 2. That looks pretty fast. Huh. Do I have a... Okay, let's do a filter that exempts substations. So I can kill off this stuff. Helps if I change it from whitelist to blacklist. Okay. As long as I'm putting these in, let's put in for one for a copper plate, because I now need one. I'm not hooked up to use it yet, so I'll just have to do this. Okay, so what have I got here? I've got coal, iron plate, copper plate, stone, and brick, and steel. Let's go ride the coal train back. last thing I want is brick. Oh, let's wean ourselves off of the infinite iron plate here. Okay, brick. It just comes right up here. Brick for military science. Got it. And now this guy goes add station. Looking for brick. Brick. There we go. Brick. Full cargo and inactivity. And brick for military science. Empty cargo and inactivity. And remove the old stuff. Copy in there. Go get brick. And I'm going to get him running automatically here and follow him out. That'll give me a sense of how long I'm waiting. I just want to watch how far it gets as we load up. I'm pretty sure it's less than 30 seconds. It looks like it's about... Darn it. And I'm not going to be able to pull through until he pulls out, so you go get some fuel so I can pull through. Yeah, trains wanting to turn around inside a station is a bad thing. I think it only happens when I mess up. And I still had this set wrong. Desperately need to put some turnarounds down for when I mess up and do things by hand wrong. So I saw that we were filling it almost in parallel on the 40-second thing. You could call it about 30 seconds to fill. Seconds to fill when I've stacks of hundreds, about a minute to fill for stacks that are bigger. So we just have to make sure that our factories that are producing trains can load trains up that fast. Okay. So there's our brick, and now we can wean ourselves off of that brick, off of the infinite brick. go. And that leaves us with steel and copper, which we are going to want to turn into those two merged things. Let's see. If I do that, I want two merged lines, which sounds to me kind of obviously like doing something like this. Okay, and because these are split lines, when I hook that up, I'm going to have to do some fancy dancing to drain the old stuff, maybe. Wait a minute. The guy on the right is whoever's on the outside of these two lanes. This would be copper and copper. So if the guy on the right is copper, we won't have to copper. This guy will go to, should be copper station. Oh, there is actually another copper station somewhere, probably down for the satellite, right? So we want to wait at copper for full cargo and activity, and then we want to go copper for science, copper for military science. Where did you go? There we are. Kill those two. Pick up. Now the reason why I'm sending this here to the drop station is the drop station also has fuel. So we're going to pause until we have refueled plus 5 seconds. Let's try that time past 40 seconds again. I'm still curious as to what our total wait time is. Okay, so we fill it faster than 40 seconds, so we're creeping ahead. 5-second inactivity wait. So like 39 seconds or something, and then waiting for traffic. Cool. So now we know. Sorry, I got kind of zoned out there for a second. Okay, so there we go. Apparently, I am not sure how that got replaced. Yeah, I probably just painted over it properly. So now we have our copper coming down, and it's on the outside. So that will make that turn, and that will make that turn, and that's correct. So now we need steel. Steel. Here we go. And we hook this guy up to go grab steel. So I think it is everything in basic order, where there's just one unique station, followed by multiple stations that we can reach, followed by multiple stations that we can't reach. A station we can't reach is down there. So steel, we have multiple steel stations, full cargo, and inactivity, and then back to steel for military science, empty cargo, inactivity, kill these two. Okay, so we have a perfectly good high rate steel there. I'm going to tear down this station when it's done. If I need a second station, more loaders, I'll do that. But I'm trying to get rid of these stations that use the blue belts because I think the loaders load faster than a blue belt. Okay, and let's go ahead and put these stations in just like the others. So at some point here we should start seeing traffic. I know I've been slowing down occasionally on this line. I'm not sure at what point we need to worry about traffic, especially since we're going to be moving we're going to be changing the balance here. So this line is only going to have the assembled stuff, and the smelted stuff is going to go above. So we're going to have these one lines going up to get the smelted stuff in return, and then we're going to, if we're returning from here and we're coming down from here, that's a whole lot like having a bidirectional line running vertically, which is left-hand drive. I'm going to see if I can work out an intersection from a right-hand drive horizontal to a left-hand drive vertical real quick. This is going to be confusing. First off, boom, boom. These guys going in, and we're left-hand drive coming south, so it's up goes there, and down goes there, and exit, 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 and exit, and inside here, okay, that's properly signaled, and I believe it got the directions proper. If I could turn this into a decent intersection, it would mean I could just move our loaders and unloaders out to it. That's kind of an interesting idea. Can I turn this into a real intersection? How tight can I put this? Okay, let's see. This is looking like it's going to be really kind of cool. Aesthetic question whether I want the chain signals next to each other, and I think I'm just going to cluster them in that corner. Just like that. Okay, so now I need to set up the rails so I can move back and forth. This guy is going up, so from here to here. Somehow. do this. Do I have space in here? Yes, I do. And out here. And also I need going the other way. Hold on, I used to mess around with clover intersections a bit, where I would come out and around. That does take up a lot of space. Not as much space as what I've got, though. Okay, so this would be interesting. Can I tighten this up? If I tighten this up, what effect does it have on traffic? Now, obviously, I need to put a signal there. He is exiting. Let's do the whole thing with these signals. Everything's chain signals until I'm all done. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make chain signals out here. And I'm just not going to worry about it, so we'll signal these later. So up from there, and that goes to the right. And I do not want anybody from this lane going up. I want all of these to be fed in. I do need stuff coming down. So he will need to go down there. Heck, what if I just fill this thing out? From left going up, and from the right going up, and from up going right, and up going... Haha. So we're coming down here. Ah, this one was an error. So left to right, right to left. So this guy goes up or down. Check. This guy goes up or down. This guy's going up and it goes right or left. This guy's coming down and it goes left or right. So there's the full intersection if I put it as tight as possible. And I do have some places I can signal and some places I can't. So if I signal everywhere I can, all the possible signal locations, and we see that that's not working because I have these two lights that are like that. So with all the possible signal locations, it still ends up with this entire middle thing being one block. which means these two horizontal trains can't be separated with this layout. So I think part of the problem is this crossover here. No matter where the vertical is, if I do a crossover like this, I can't signal these guys. So now we have to think, do I really need everything? So in theory, this curve is traffic from the left feeding into a base on the lower right, which is entirely valid, as is this line here. And this is traffic from the base in the lower left going either direction, which is entirely valid. So we need all those connections. I need to work out the proper intersection here to allow throughput so that trains from the left and the right can cross. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have everything signaled that I can. Boom. Boom. I was just missing these two. There we go. There's my signaling. So vertical traffic still has to stop and wait for each other, but that's okay. We aren't having a lot of vertical traffic crossing each other yet, I think. Or are we? Oh, and we have the additional problem of these guys. So I can't use this kind of crossover technique at all. I should have remembered that from other bases. Okay, so I have to basically choose what's going to be efficient. And there's no obvious things like I don't go here to here because these are opposite directions. So this is really beautiful and symmetric and everything, and it completely won't work. So what if I make one more optimal than the other? Which one would I do? Well, obviously, if every train that comes down here, there's going to be another train coming up here. So this and this are really, it's arbitrary because either one is going to be different. Is there something I can do with coming out and around? Okay, if we decide that's going to be our long limb, I don't know where I'm going to put it yet. Okay, let's pick up our signals until we get this laid down. Okay, so now we need to wait for... Oh! So the inner ones are horizontals going vertical, and the outer ones are verticals going horizontal. That sounds like a winner to me. Okay. So now I need a place to put something here that still can be signaled. I'm going to try there just real quick. And yeah, that works. So the key thing is getting the signal in the middle there. Let's make a diagonal I can just plop down. So we know that this doesn't work. And that looks like it's going to cause problems, but let's look at it. I could signal there. So this will be matching, so we come down by 1. I think I was down by 2. So what are my signaling opportunities? There. This signal is going to do nothing because that's all one thing. Yeah, see that doesn't go there, but that means that this is all one block. That's not bad. Put a signal there that limits the size of the block. These have the same color, but they're different blocks. That's not bad. Okay, so from here, two back. That right? That's all right. And now I'm losing the thread on what goes where. Oh, right. This guy goes up to here, so that would be this. It's almost like everything has to be individually worked out. Can I do some symmetry here? Okay, so this has got bottom to top going right and top to bottom going left. So I need bottom to top going left and top to bottom going right. I need to make sure that I can get a signal on the right-hand side of this guy in both of those markings. Or do I? I just need it in the top one, really. And if I do that, this goes away, leaving me with those blocks. So the top and the bottom trains are still separated, and the left and the right trains are, just by accident, still separated, for now at least. Okay. I am going to prepare a destructor for the signals so I can replant them if I need it, and I'm going to get rid of them. Actually, get rid of them now. So from right going up is here and down, and left going up and down, and from the bottom going right and left, and from the top going left and going right is not there yet. That looks like that's actually in parallel, so we'll do it from here to here. Okay. So now, separating this line from this line, I need to cut through there, there. That separates top and bottom. Then we separate right and left. Boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So now the left and right trains can pass each other, and so trains going straight can now pass each other. Anything else we add is just gravy. But what I will do is I will put the chain markers as close in as possible now. Okay. Now, if I add stuff internally, it means trains can transition out of blocks, get smaller blocks. Does that bias anything? I think it does. I do not think it does. Okay, and now these signals for the exit blocks. So if we're exiting to the right, this says we can't enter here until we can make it all the way out. Remember, we can't use one of these unless there is enough space on our output for an entire train, which means, among other things, that guy needs to go. So on our way in, we don't need to start the chain yet. Okay, coming up from the bottom, we have normal signals because we don't start the chain yet, and on the way out we're going to well, this is going to feed into the right, so this is all chain signals anyway. Now coming in from the left, we don't enter the chained blocks yet here. But this would mean that somebody could advance from here out. So until we get the station coming in over here, oh, let's do it assuming that we get this station set up properly. And our exit here is going to be nice and clean. So yeah, we're going to be moving our loading and unloading it out to these verticals. I wish I had thought of this earlier. And up top, on the exit, oh, this is entrance. So we need to start planning out what these guys look like, up and down. So we got this one right. And going down, boom, that's a chain signal. We may simply have chain signals on the verticals in a lot of places due to all of the stations that are coming in and out. So yeah, we will need to put the verticals in by hand in most cases, I think. But there we go. And at this point, I can... well, I could run these off to the right. So the other thing is that trains coming out onto a vertical can't come back on the same vertical. There's no turnaround here, which means one area could not go to the next one. So we can't do this with the infinites, but the infinites are moving anyway. Let's start retrofitting that. And this is 2-hour recording, so I'm going to start a new recording for putting in these vertical stations, which are going to come in handy. And then starting to retrofit my existing factories to use the vertical lines as their feeders for their stations. So that's the next one.